So I want to go over what I consider a foundational nutrition tip, and it actually doesn't have anything to do with calorie counting or macronutrient ratios or anything specific like that. It's just a behavior that, in pretty much all of us, is just an automatic, unconscious behavior, and it's the speed at which we eat. And what I always try to teach people if I'm working with a nutrition client is before you learn anything about, what you should be eating, let's focus on how you're eating. Because a lot of people, especially if they have trouble with weight management, are instinctively very fast eaters. You don't realize it because it's actually been a behavior you've probably had most of your life. And this behavior comes from, a lot of things that can happen early on. So I'm an only child. I've always been a slow eater because I've never had a bunch of siblings to compete with over mealtime. But people I know that have had a lot of siblings, they eat very fast because you've got other brothers and sisters that are all kind of competing over the same amount of food. Same thing I've noticed with people that were in the military. People that were in the military eat very fast because you have very little time to eat when you're in the military, and everything is very regimented and rushed. And so you create this eating style and you actually have that for the rest of your life. And maybe at an earlier stage in life, eating fast paid dividends. It was something that you kind of had to do. But if you're still doing it to this day, it may actually be holding you back because there's benefits definitely from slowing down your eating. One, it improves digestion. When you eat slower, you're taking in less food, obviously. At one time, your digestive system doesn't have to work so hard to break down those nutrients. So that makes your whole digestive system much happier. You will naturally eat less if you're eating slower, because a lot of people probably know this. It takes about 20 minutes for the hormones from your gut to communicate to your brain that it's had enough food, because there's hormones, they're called leptin and ghrelin in case anybody's taking notes, that manage your appetite and hunger. And there's like a certain physical threshold that once your stomach reaches, it sends a signal to your brain like, hey, I'm at this threshold, I've had enough. Why don't you stop feeling hungry and start to feel more satisfied? But if you eat really fast, that food goes down your mouth before your stomach has a chance, or your gut has a chance to talk to your brain and say, I've had enough. So you actually end up overeating because you've basically eaten way past that signal. So you've shoveled a lot of food in your mouth within 20 minutes, whereas if you actually took your time and ate very slowly over 20 minutes, you would feel just as satisfied, brain-wise, but you're not going to have as much food in your stomach, therefore you won't have as many calories in your body. So without having to break out a nap or write down everything that you ate, you just naturally ate less. And that's a much easier way of managing your calorie intake and your weight. As I said, also, it's very good for your digestive system. Slowing down your eating also improves your enjoyment from food, because we often eat very fast and we're also very distracted. So we're not even really paying attention to what we're eating. We're just, reading something or watching TV, playing on our phone as we're kind of just putting food in our mouth reflexively. You're not even really tasting the food. You're not enjoying it. You're going through the act of eating. But if you slow down your eating and you actually chew and you pay attention to the flavor and the taste, you enjoy that meal much more. And so what I challenge everybody to do right now, whether you're a fast eater or a slow eater, is pick one meal a day. You don't have to do this for every single meal, because honestly, it's very hard in the beginning and it is kind of irritating to slow down, especially if you're used to eating fast. Pick one meal a day where you do nothing but focus on that meal. Set a timer. Set it for, let's say, 15 minutes. So you have 15 minutes to finish that, and you can't finish it before 15 minutes. Pay attention to how difficult that is. Pay attention to how long 15 minutes can be when you're just eating. And then also pay attention to what are you feeling in your mouth. Like, are you enjoying the flavors more? Is this meal as good as you remembered it? I can also guarantee you, if you're eating processed food, anything out of a chip or a bag or fast food, those foods were not designed to be eaten slowly. They were designed to be eaten fast. And you're going to notice the flavors of these foods are not as good as you think, because they're designed with a lot of salt, sugar, and fat, which are high-powered flavors, but they also disappear very fast. And what's left over is not really an appetizing meal. But if you're eating real whole foods, you'll notice that they actually taste even better the slower you eat. So if you're going to do this exercise, I recommend doing it when you're eating like a really healthy, whether home cooked or if you go out, make sure that it's mostly whole foods, and you're going to enjoy it much better. So slow down your eating, one meal a day for, let's say, the next week. Try to draw it out for 15 minutes and pay attention to what happens. All right, that's it. Take care, y'all.